So, what advice do you have regarding the current housing market and the potential opportunities or challenges that investors may encounter?
So one of the main challenges that I've seen a lot with some of the investors that I work with that are buying, Airbnb properties or long-term rent properties in the state of Florida is that they're looking for the maximum amount of profit in within the first year. And that's right there off the bat. I just tell them, listen, your first year of owning this home right now in this current market is not going to hit the profit margin that you need, right? And there's two reasons why. A, the housing market right now for investors, again, it's 30% higher than 2 years before. So you're paying a lot more for that property than you did in 2020 and 2021. Number two, interest rates for investors are a lot higher compared to an average consumer, and you have to put more down. So minimum 15% down with a decent credit score of 700, you're still in the 7 to 7.5% interest rate or even higher, depending on the program. So what I tell them is like, you can't be looking at your first years of profit in order to make this happen. Again, going back to you're marrying the property, not the rate.
Hmm.
I go back to them and I tell them, you need to look at this over a 5 to 10 year period. Within those next 5 to 10 years, you already know that you're going to have the equity to pull out cash when you need to. In those 5 years, interest rates are going to drop and raise. So there's a possibility for you to decrease your interest rate, pull out cash, and still save money. And now your profits are going to escalate or even rise between those 5 to 10 years. So what I tell them again, you need to be focusing on properties that are going to make profit within the next couple years, because you know that you can leverage that property enough in order for you to drop your interest rates when the time comes, in order to use for rehabs and increase rent, and then possibly sell it for more because now you've used that equity and you put it back into the property to increase the purchase price. And one other thing that I'm always telling them too, a lot of them are from out of state and they want to buy a condo down here in Miami. And I tell them, no, there's no reason for you to be buying down here in Miami. And I live here and it's a terrible market. Everything is overpriced. We're the highest priced city in the state of Florida right now, next to West Palm Beach. And I tell them, we need to be focusing more on areas in Florida that are seeing rapid growth, but not as much growth as Miami. The last 2 years, we've seen over 30% of our population increase because of out in town investors and a lot of people coming in and buying up properties. What's that's causing, again, is the prices up here are too expensive. If you buy a rental property down here, you're going to be out rented or outpriced because nobody's renting. There's empty buildings everywhere, but people not being able to afford the rent. So what I suggest to them is go outside of this market and look for markets that are a little bit smaller, somewhere like in the Central Florida area or even North Florida area, like Inverness or Ocala. Small growth, decently priced homes, and everybody is focused enough to make the rent there because it's cheap enough to own. And in the next 5 years, this is exactly what's going to happen. Their property prices are going to go up. They're able to rent for more, and they've made a lot more profit.
Wow, man, that is really good advice right there. Especially, to your investors. Yeah, so there are, opportunities out there for investors. You just have to really know, especially in Florida, where to look. So as you said,
Exactly.
Miami may not be the best spot, but Central Florida may be. So that's really good to know. So